Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is my empties for the months of July, August, and September. I was trying to upload these every 2 months, but my schedule's a little off. So we have a lot of product since we're adding in another month here. Also, before we jump into it, I just want to say that you may notice that my nails look like a hot mess. I meant to paint them last night and I feel like you see them up close and personal in an empties video, and I tried to paint them this morning because I forgot about last night, and oh my goodness, they look horrible. I'm awful at painting nails. If anybody has any tips, let me know. But like literally my tactic or my technique is paint them sloppily the night before, and that way when I shower the next morning, that like it comes off my skin but it stays on my nail. And I don't know if that's like the best technique if I'm gonna film the same day. So if you have like nail techniques, let me know in the comments because I'm almost hopeless when it comes to nails. Also, I tried so hard to match my eyeliner to my shirt and my nails. But I have to mix these, and when they're wet, it looks like it's gonna match, and then when it dried down to my eyes today, it's a little darker, so I'm a little bummed. It's just one of those days where I feel like filming's not really going my way, but we're gonna get it done. So with all that complaining being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Alright, as we get started, in every empties video that I've posted this year, I've tried to declutter some things. And so far, I have done a really good job. And actually today, I have several items that I decluttered. One of them, I have to read off to you my little note here. I ended up giving my a 6-pan NYX palette to my sister-in-law, I believe it was, maybe my mother-in-law. And then my sister-in-law my mother-in-law got the NYX birthday palette. Did anybody remember that a couple years ago from the Ulta birthday gift? And then my sister-in-law got like a little 6-pan NYX palette from me, and the Desert Dusk like copycat. It was like a dupe version from like some app. I don't even remember who. Alter Ego, maybe? Maybe. Yeah, I ended up giving those eyeshadow palettes to my family, and then I have 2 items here that I have decided to declutter. First one up on the list, you may have noticed it or remembered this one if you watched my Get Ready With Me trying some new makeup. It was the best thing. Do you see this? Do you see? What the heck? What is that? This is my Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse, and it was so hard to say goodbye to this because I felt like if I really put my mind to it, I could have just finished it and then been able to count it towards an empties, but this is not going towards the value because obviously I didn't finish it all. So I'm a little bummed about that, but at the same time, this is not performing like it used to. This was probably the oldest foundation in my collection. And also my skin has just changed a ton. This used to work for me pretty well when I lived in the US, in Georgia, and it was humid and hot, and I had pretty oily skin at that point. And here in Sweden, I struggle with way more dry skin issues, so this is just not working out for me anymore, so it's gotta go. Also, I'm decluttering this Stila glitter in the shade Diamond Dust. This was my first Stila glitter, and I remember it had a white base to it. And I tried within this past year to like rehydrate it, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's like one, it's dried up again, but also the base is like, it turned colors, it turned to like a silver or gray, and the wand is all dirty. I don't remember wearing it over like super messy like eyeshadow, but apparently maybe that's what it did. Either that, or when I rehydrate these things, I either use like eye drops or makeup setting spray sometimes, or maybe a drop of oil. Maybe there's some, like, maybe the oil, maybe I use like a marula oil. Maybe there's a little bit of like pigment in that, or a little bit of something in that could have done this, but yeah, the moment it turned colors, the moment I said no longer putting that on my eyeballs. So this has actually been sitting in there since, for the 3 months pretty much. Right at the end of the last empties, I decided to declutter this because I noticed it had changed colors. So yeah, it was white, now it's not, and now I'm not gonna use it on my eyeballs anymore. Alright, enough with declutters. Let's go ahead and get into the actual empties. I am gonna go by category. I have 3 kind of base products that I used up over the past 3 months, and I have a Baby Skin Maybelline concealer, an IT CC cream, and my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powder. Out of these 3, I think obviously this one is like a must for me. I will always have something like this in my collection because on days where I know I'm gonna be outside or we go on vacation, this is my go-to. It's not my favorite foundation in the entire world, but honestly, if I had to pick only one foundation for the rest of my life, I probably would pick this because I just feel, well, I get good coverage, but also I really appreciate the extra SPF protection that it gives. I always wear SPF underneath it, but still I think that it's a phenomenal product and I really, really enjoy this one. Whereas this kind of felt like that Smashbox like silicone primer. I liked it. My skin in Sweden especially likes it. It's not the kind of primer that I liked in the US when my skin was a bit oilier. But nowadays I need something sometimes, especially in the winter, a little bit more slick or gives my skin a little bit more slip to it. So I like these kind of primers, but this one wasn't spectacular by any means, and it certainly didn't do a ton of pore filling in my opinion. Now let's talk about this guy, the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powder. And this is from, obviously, a couple years ago. I feel like this was pretty popular. I don't know, I think they still make this. I thought this was a pretty decent powder. I used it mostly as a setting powder, even though I think it's technically a powder foundation. I didn't think it gave that much coverage for me to use it as a powder foundation. I did occasionally if I was having like a really good skin day and didn't need a ton covered up, but mostly I use this as like a setting powder. And I have to say, I feel like you run through this kind of powder quickly, and so for that reason it's not my favorite. If I'm gonna pick a powder foundation, I'm probably gonna pick my Bare Minerals one, and then like setting powder wise, I prefer usually a loose powder over a pressed powder. So it's not a bad powder, it's just not something I ever see myself picking back up again. Okay, next category we have bronzing products, and I have two empties. I have an empty NYX concealer. This was like popular a couple years ago where people were buying concealers that were a darker shade and they were like using them as contour or bronzing products. So this was in the shade Nutmeg, I think. And yeah, and this was like, it served a purpose. It was fine. It was a little dark. I had to learn how to like really sheer it out and use like the bare like dot, 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 dot and like be done because it was very dark. But I enjoyed it, but it's probably not something I'm willing to buy again. I could see myself maybe picking like another concealer up in a darker shade in the future, but probably not anytime soon. I want to try like other products like the Milk Bronzing Stick and things like that before I ever pick up something like this again. Although if you're really on a budget, I think that it worked fine, and concealer options like darker concealers could really work for you if you're really on a budget and not wanting to go try like those high-end Milk products or the Fenty bronzers and things like that. Okay, and the next one is absolutely the most like exciting one. This is a Makeup Revolution Ultra Contour Palette, and as you can see, it's beautiful empty. This was my Pan That Face palette as I started this year, and yeah, if you've already seen that update too, you've seen that this is not a spoiler, it's empty. I showed it in that video, but I am gonna put it in my makeup empties and wait for the end of the year. I'm just so excited to have finished a whole face palette. This is my first ever like full face palette that I finished, so I'm really proud of it, but it's not something that I would purchase again. It was not bad by any means. It had two highlights in it. Mostly the reason why I wouldn't pick up it again is because those two highlights weren't very good. The rest of the powders I used fine. I would use them all up again, but I kind of am trying to stop buying palettes that don't work for me, all of the powders. I think that there are so many options out there nowadays that if I want something, that a majority of the palette should work for me. Otherwise, I can find something else or find singles that will work just as well. Okay, next category we have eye products, and I actually have two pairs of lashes here. These are both Ardell lashes, and yeah, they've seen better days. So look like little caterpillars, but I'm gonna put them away. I love Ardell lashes. I think those are not the faux mink style. The faux mink styles are my favorite. I think I say that every time I talk about Ardell lashes, but I will definitely pick up more of the faux mink styles. And then I have three other eye kind of products. I have an eyebrow pencil from e.l.f. I did not really like this. I thought it was a little too waxy and almost like it did pull my brow hair sometime, like even out, which I don't need that to happen. And so yeah, I didn't mind the color, but it just wasn't my favorite pencil. I think there are better ones out there. And it kind of sucks to say that because honestly that pencil is really affordable. Like it's only like $2 or $3. So I wish it would work for me, but it doesn't. The other thing I have here is a CoverGirl eyeshadow pencil. This thing is forever old. Like I have no idea how old it is, but I got to the point where I couldn't sharpen it anymore, and I will not be picking these kind of products up in general anymore because I just don't use them. I don't use them as an eyeshadow, and then I use this one up as an eyeshadow base, but I don't find that I need that. It's just not helpful. If I'm gonna use an eyeshadow base, like if I want it to be sticky, I'm probably gonna grab a glitter glue, so that doesn't really work for me at all. And then I also have a Lorac eyeshadow primer here, and this came with like free in one of like the Lorac Pro palettes that I bought. And I cut mine open a little too early, so you can see it's a little gunky still in there. But I thought I was actually really surprised that this primer being free, I kind of thought it was not going to be that great quality, but I thought it was pretty good quality. It reminds me a lot of the primer potion from Urban Decay, that same kind of like consistency, that slick, almost silicone sometimes, or like glycerin or something in it that makes it a little slick. It feels pretty good. It feels just like that. And if I ever got another one of these, or if I passed one in like TJ Maxx or something like that on sale, I would pick something like this up again, but I certainly wouldn't pay full price for something like this from Lorac, but it was a good primer. Okay, last category of makeup. I have 8 lip products. 3 of them Beau used up. He is like the panning king of like lip chap stuff. 2 Carmexes and a chapstick. He really likes the Carmex, but lately it has been dethroned. We tried, I got him to try my Jack Black lip balm while we were on vacation recently, and he loved it. And so eventually, when we worked through like the 30 other Carmexes that we have in stock, that I imagine that he will slow down on wanting that and want the Jack Black one instead, which won't bother me at all. I think that if I remember seeing a video, maybe Jen Loves Reviews did a video or something like that, where she talked about that the Carmex has like an irritant in it, so it maybe isn't the best long term for his lips, but we have a ton of them to work through first, and he seems to really like that analgesic feeling in it, so we have a ton, which is good. Now, the other 5 lip products are mine, and I used them all up. Can you believe I used 5 lip products up? I'm so proud of myself. So I have a little lip liner here from, this was like a Amazon find. My sister-in-law gave it to me a couple years ago. It was like a pack of lip liners from Amazon, like all different shades and colors, and their brand was named Italia or something like that. And I have to say the quality, I believe like the entire comes with like 8 to 10 pencils or something like that, and the quality of them is really good, like really surprisingly good. So I used this guy up. It was part of my 2020 project pan, and now it's empty, and I'm really excited. I feel like it wasn't the longest lasting pencil, but it's also like not too creamy, not too stiff. I thought the consistency was like perfect for what I wanted. And I probably wouldn't pick that same brand up anymore, just because I don't want to order off makeup or Amazon makeup. Like, I'd rather shop at Ulta or something like that. But if you're ever like in a bind and you need something cheap and you want a lot of option, it was not a bad option at all. This next one here was also a gift to me by my sister-in-law at Christmas time, and this was also in a 2020 project pan. This is the Chapstick Total Hydration Lip Oil, and you can see that there's still some in there, but I just can't get it out. Yeah, this actually, it was something at the beginning that when I was using it like sparingly, it was nice, but when I started to get towards the end of it and I was using it regularly, I noticed that it was kind of drying my lips out, so I certainly wouldn't pick something like this up again. Then I have a Revlon lip balm in the peach flavor. I love this. I like it's got a little SPF in it. I like the smell of peaches. It smells like those peach slice like lollipops from back in the day. Oh my gosh, let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. It looked like a slice of peaches, and they even had one that looked like watermelon. They were like triangular. Oh, they were so good. Now, the last 2 lip products that I have, I wouldn't repurchase either one of them. One is the Rosy Tint Lips. This was a gift to me from a friend of mine. This is from Etude House, and yeah, I really, for a liquid lipstick, got along with this really well. It was one of the few liquid lipstick formulas that I've tried that wasn't drying, but it's just not something, even still, it's not something that I like reach for over bullet lipsticks. I much prefer bullet lipsticks, and this was the Bite Beauty Lush Lip Tints, I think they were, and yeah, I thought, well, one, I don't think they brought this back, so I don't think I could repurchase it. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as creamy as I thought like a Bite product, like especially a balm would be. I felt like I expected it to be a little bit more slippery, and it was a little stickier than I thought it would be, but I am glad that I used it up. Okay, as we move into skincare, I need to read my notes again because I left a couple empties at home that I didn't feel like packing in our bags to come home, like empty, complete bottles that I would need to like throw away here. So we had one Curology bottle that we left at home that I finished, one Clarisonic cleanser sample, and then one baby oil, like mini baby oil. Those are products that I kind of left at home to, like, when we were visiting, I could just not have to worry about packing my own skincare to go home. I could just go home and remove my makeup with the baby oil and wash my face with the cleanser, and I ended up finishing both of those. Okay, so the other skincare items I have with me, I have 8 of them. I'll try to go through them as quick as possible. I finished up one larger baby oil. I really do kind of like using baby oil to take up makeup as like my first step cleanser. My skin, especially in the evening, can be a little bit more dehydrated, so I don't find that it makes me feel too greasy. It doesn't make it harder to clean my skin or anything. So I kind of like that. And it's not to mention that it's super cheap compared to like the Clinique Take the Day Off cleansing balm, which I have but I haven't tried yet, so maybe I'll eat my words one day. And then I have a Holika aloe face cleanser. I found this at TJ Maxx a while back, like a year ago, and this irritated my skin so bad. I had high hopes because I feel like I've heard good things about this brand, but this made my face burn. I got my husband to try it. His face burned, so we ended up using it like on our body, but oh my goodness, absolutely not. No, we'll never use that again. And in fact, I'm kind of afraid to try other things from the brand just because that experience was so awful. Then we have a CeraVe face lotion. This is the PM one. I love this thing. We literally keep back stock of that because we go through it so like regularly. It's my daytime moisturizer, and my husband uses it both day and night, and we love it. It has niacinamide in it, which is an all-star ingredient if you really want to target like pore size and that kind of thing. So if you're looking for like a good affordable moisturizer with some niacinamide in it, that is such a good one. Not to mention that it also has other really good ingredients too. Then we have a CeraVe salicylic acid cleanser. I love this thing. I had trouble, I found a backup when I was home, but I had trouble finding one when I was home. So I got a little nervous. I hope they're not like discontinuing something like this because it's fantastic. I constantly use a salicylic acid wash, and that's my favorite one that I've ever tried. Then I have a Yes To Coconut Hydrating and Restoring Face Mask. I did not like this. I felt like it was very thick, but at the end of the like mask period when I wiped it off, I didn't feel that much more hydrated. So actually what I ended up doing was using this, and Bo and I both used it this way. We ended up using it as a face cleanser in the mornings, because in the mornings typically you sleep with all your skincare on at night and you don't really have much dirt on your face the next day. So we would get a little bit of this and like rub it in while we're showering and then like wipe it off in the shower. And it wasn't that bad that way, but it's certainly not something that I would ever pick up again. I believe I also found that at TJ Maxx. And then I used up a Vanny Cream bar. I love Vanny Cream bars when I want something that I know is going to kind of give my pores another good clean, with especially good at targeting fungal acne. If you struggle with fungal acne, try a Vanny Cream bar because they're really good. And we have another Curology bottle. This is actually Bo's. The one that I finished up at home was mine, and then Bo finished up his as well. We both really enjoyed Curology. And although we're kind of thinking about halting it for a little while, just because it's harder to get the bottles over here to Sweden, and we hate to ask our parents to like ship them to us. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. And then I have the last thing here, my Mario Badescu drying lotion. Both Bo and I love this. If you struggle with like really, like I don't get a ton of breakouts, but occasionally I'll get a breakout, and usually they're pretty stubborn if they like pop up. So this guy is a must. You just stick a Q-tip into the bottom. It's got a little calamine, it's got sulfur and that kind of thing, salicylic acid, and you just dot it on there, let it dry on your skin and sleep in it, and it will. Now if you have really sensitive skin, it kind of burns. You don't want to put it on like an open, don't like be picking at your face and then put it on top, because that will burn like crazy. But it may cause a little bit of dryness and flakiness because it is pretty strong drying lotion, but it is a necessity for me when I'm really struggling with like bad breakout here or there. And Bo feels the same way about it. We started to run out of this right before we went home for our like month-long vacation. And oh my goodness, like we were both kind of panicking, like we got to get that back when we're home. And so we have this to back up. I almost felt like I should have brought 2 back, but I only brought 1, trying to do the one and replace thing. But yeah, this is an item that we will never be without in our skincare like cabinet. Okay, in the next category, I have 2 items with me. One item I did leave at home. It was a St. Ives body lotion. Honestly, body lotions, I've never found one that I'm like die hard in love with. I do like the Bath and Body Works lotions, but I feel like I also run through those bottles. Like if I wore it as much as I wanted to, I'd probably run through it in like 1 or 2 months. And so, yeah, this one here was from like a Swedish grocery store. I don't know if it's worth spending more money on lotion, but at the same time, I feel like, yeah, it's probably not if I go through them so quickly, right? Especially in the winter here. I never even wore lotion until I came to Sweden, and now all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm buying a bottle of lotion every 2 months. And then the last thing in this body lotion care item is this Bath and Body Works Birch and Argan hand cream. I like these hand creams a lot. This one wasn't my favorite. They have one that has lavender in it, and that one smelled so much better. This one was a little bit sweet, like almost like a vanilla, so not my favorite, but I do like these little guys for throwing in my purse. They're quite nice for that. Okay, and we're getting closer to the end. I promise I only have a couple more items left. I have one nail polish remover. Again, this is something I picked up here in Sweden. I need nail polish remover, but I'm, again, not really versed on like what's good and what's not. If you have recommendations for me in the comments, I'm more than happy to hear them, especially for when we get back to the US, and hopefully I'll keep painting my nails often. And then I have a Devoted Love perfume. This I bought at Big Lots for $3.50. I remember, honestly, I have to be really honest here. If you don't want to spend like $60 on a perfume, which sometimes that's what they cost or more, I think like these little things from Big Lots are really not bad considering $3.50. And it wasn't the most long-lasting things, but they're really not bad if you're in a pinch. I kind of especially like them to wear at night. Like, you know, sometimes it just feels good to smell nice, and so I'll get ready for bed, and right before I go to bed, I'll just squirt myself just a little bit here and there, and then crawl in bed, and it just kind of relaxes me. So that's what I kind of like these for. Okay, and the last category we have here is hair products. I have one from Beau. This is a Garnier Fructis Pure Clean Hair Paste. He did a good job. He said he panned it, and so he wanted me to show you guys. So make sure in the comments you tell him good job on panning his lip items and his hair paste. He's a great panner, if I do say so myself. And then I also have my 2 guys here. This is my Garnier. This is what I dyed my hair with recently to be able to do that like hair extension video. I do not typically dye my hair, and as you can see, my roots are already coming back, but can I just say that, like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. We'll see if I can get a little closer. I thought my hair was like this color, like this is called dark chocolate. I thought it was really close to this color, but now that it's growing out, I'm like, good grief, my hair's so much darker than this was. Why did I not realize that? I mean, my hair isn't black, but like, what color is my hair? I really don't understand. It's got a ton of gray in it now, but like, what in the heck color is it? And then the last item I have here is a Girls with Curls like hair cream. This was a find from TJ Maxx. I got it for $5.99. It says it compares to an $8 value. I think it even was listed on Amazon for a little bit more than that, but this thing, not my favorite hair cream. Like, honestly, I tend to use a mousse, especially since it's less humid here in Sweden. My curls don't hold as well, and so a mousse is a little bit more helpful in a climate like this. But if I were living back at home in Georgia or in Alabama, this would probably do really well because it's really light, and I don't want my curls feeling too stiff. So when it's way more humid, which it is back home, this would have worked way better there. But here, yeah, it's funny how some products can work for me in some climates and sometimes they don't in others. I never would have expected that with hair products even. Okay, so that is everything that I have used up over the past 3 months. Let me look down really quick and grab the value. Now, the monetary value, not what I paid for them. I got most of these things on sale, but I used up $352.50, which I'm pretty excited for. I know that I feel like I'm already at, if I haven't done the math yet, but guessing, I bet I'm already past that $1,000 mark. So I actually haven't calculated at all how much makeup I've used up this year. I'm gonna wait and hopefully be surprised when I do my end of year makeup video. But I'm feeling really good about the progress that I've made this year on like inventory numbers and using up as much as I can. I feel like I've done probably, this might be my best year yet, which makes me pretty excited. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you say hello in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.